Hello to anyone listening, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Ellis. I'm founder of New Mind. It's a startup developing technology to help people with brain injuries. Joining me today is my identical twin brother, Luke.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. And in true COVID fashion, although we are in the same house, we've gone separate rooms to do this recording. And this is going to be a little bit different to most of the presentations you've heard today. Luke's going to share his journey, and I'm going to be kind of just asking some questions and guiding, and how that really shaped what it is we're building and also the company purpose. And as a bit of a warning, although some of the material is quite heavy, Luke and I well, there's a high likelihood we'll probably turn it into a joke. And Luke's allowed to because he is a brain injury survivor, and I feel like I'm allowed to because I am a caregiver. But yeah, without further ado. So to kick it off, Luke, perhaps a bit of a difficult question, but can you tell me anything about this period? Is there anything you remember?
Absolutely none. Just lots and lots of confusion. I remember asking, or being told I would ask daily, why am I there? What happened to me? It was like a Wayne's World.
Yeah, very scary time. Yeah, as Luke was a 3 on the Glasgow scale, induced coma, and then a long time before there was his emergence period. But Luke, can you remember why you were smiling so peacefully in this picture? I'd kind of like to know.
Probably the amount of drugs I was on.
Yeah, lots of
But I was
come off them now.
I was told I was on need to be very powerful painkillers. But yeah.
I imagine maybe it's a bit of a benefit that you can't remember much from that period. I
I
don't
think
know.
I think it's the body, the brain and body is smarter than we realise, and I think it's it will keep that part of your life and just leave it in the dirt.
Mm,
And it's not until I've got a lot better where those memories have come back or began to without any like zero time of the date when it came from,
mm,
and those were known as confabulations.
yeah, I remember them. I remember them. Um,
Dark times.
so when you kind of were coming out of your coma, I remember this super clearly. You spoke your first words, and me and Ewan used to take you round on, basically it was like a huge throne, a huge kind of bed on wheels really, and we'd take you outside the hospital. We were always asking you questions like where you wanted to go, what you wanted to do, and we had no idea whether you could actually hear us or not. But can you remember what it was that kind of got your first words out?
I think it was directions to McDonald's.
Oh,
Is that right?
so close, man, so close. It was Burger
Burger
King.
King.
It was Burger
Uh,
King. Yeah, swear down. We asked you where you wanted to go. Do you want to go to Burger King? And you kind of pointed where we think it was a point, and you went this way. Yes. Kind of this croaky voice, and it was Burger King. So yeah, forever will have a soft spot in my heart for Burger King, and I think you do as well. Although maybe more of a McDonald's man. Um,
well, there's more McDonald's.
there's more.
I
Yeah,
I would always go for Burger King if I had a choice.
there we go. There we go.
Because it's recovery for me. It's a soft spot.
By the way, if I'm looking down to the right here, because that's where you are, Luke, on my screen.
I'm
Um,
doing exactly the same. Shall I move mine to the left?
no, you're good, man. You're good.
All right, cool.
Okay, so when you kind of came out, this was when your proper rehabilitation started. Obviously, you had a lot of speech and language, occupational therapy, physiotherapy. Um, I don't think I've ever asked you this question, but what does that period seem like? Can you remember much of that period?
Not at all. I do remember the names of my each therapist though.
Is there any that you can remember now? This isn't a test, by the way.
I know it's not, but just talking about it, Mariella from Milan
Yeah, she was lovely.
and Judith Ellenson, I
Mm.
believe. I'm not sure, and Rob Koslowski. They were
How
the
about
three.
how about this?
I
I did some digging and I
yeah,
brought up a photo for you. Do you remember
uh,
this?
yeah. I think that was Fiona
Yeah, Fiona.
getting I was doing facial expressions, and obviously that's Mr. Bean and don't tell me. So I saw him in fancy dress. Not him, but damn it, can't have a clue.
It begins with B. Bo.
Oh, is it not? You're going to say Borat? It's not Borat. He was Borat, but his name.
Ali G.
Yeah, he was also G and Borat, but I can't remember his name. Damn it,
Sasha.
Asher Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
Uh,
Fiona was brilliant, and yeah, she really tailored her rehab to make it, incentivize you and make it humorous. But yeah, it was a
well,
long old period you're in the Lewin, and I'm apologies for this, Luke, but I've put this picture in here. I don't know what you're eating. I don't really want to ask.
it's chocolate fudge cake.
Chocolate fudge cake, if you say so. But yeah, this period of your rehab was basically it was covering your basic needs, your speech, swallowing, getting up, some really basic physio. We were actually told that you would unlikely be able to ever walk unassisted or really talk properly. So, it was really shocking stuff for us as family. But you made some incredible progress. And here, this is kind of you had a bit of a nickname as a hamster from Claire and I, and that's because you would often keep food in your mouth.
I had to make a conscious effort not to do that because
But,
that happened without me knowing it. Even as recent as a few months ago.
yeah, maybe sometimes it's advantageous. I think it was 3 days that you had some food in there, and we were trying to think when was the last time you ate sweet corn, and I think it was like 3 days. So pretty impressive stuff. Um, this is you practicing your finger mobility.
Eva's wheelchair.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So there was a very large wheelchair which kind of doubled up for a large lady and doubled up for us as a bit of a bus to kind of get round the ward together.
A bus
Um,
or sofa.
yeah, but the ward I remember it. Obviously it feels like a lifetime ago, but I remember some of the characters in the ward. There was a lot of characters there. Eva was definitely one of them. Um, and we also did quite a few escapes. I put a little emoji here. But yeah, we took you out. Jamie and I. Jamie's a close friend, family. Not really family friend, but old friend of mine and Luke's. And he took us out, and the hospital let us take you out fishing. I'm not sure if that's strictly allowed, but it felt good to get you out. I know you enjoyed it at the time.
I
But
think
yeah,
that really helped my recovery. The amount of times I had, I had more visitors than a lot of other patients,
mm,
and I got taken out more, and that really helped. And I think that was a key factor for my recovery.
mm. Yeah, I think so. We kind of as a family we took the line that any stimulation is good stimulation at that point, and you know really try to make it as normal as possible, make you as happy as possible. But it also kind of resulted in a few whoopsies. This is you falling off the back of the fishing chair and kind of being stuck there for a bit, because at this point your mobility was really bad. We had to kind of carry you around, but you're giggling away there. Yeah.
I've got always when you fall with a smile on your face.
Yeah, exactly. If you fall down smiling, man. I love that. Um, so yeah, you just said, yeah, can you see who this is?
I know those three people. Me, Claire, Mum, and Gervais.
Yeah. So you said it earlier, you had a, constant source of people coming around, friends, family in there. And I put this picture in. This is a few, maybe a year or two after this. But do you remember this?
That's a graduation or second year.
No, this is after your injury, Lukey.
Oh really? Oh no way. Oh, but my head's is that after my cranioplasty?
Yeah. I've
My
kind of zoomed
successor.
forward for this picture, but I wanted to put it in there because this was an incredible experience for me.
And me, I still
Well,
remember.
definitely for you, man. So you were one of Gerv's best men at this huge Sikh wedding. And yeah, there you are with the other best men. The only dude not. Oh, well, you're not the only guy not wearing a turban, but
I am the only white man.
yeah.
Although,
Fantastic evening.
yeah.
Yeah, I must.
It was Ellis, you say evening, but it was multiple day wedding.
Yeah.
It was like over 7 days, but I was needed for 2 of those days.
God, man, yeah, that was incredible. And Gerv was a special guy, kind of there through a lot of the early days.
Yeah.
And so I put this one in here as a kind of you leaving your Inpatient, and I'm not sure again like exactly how well you remember this stuff, but for us that was the first time we saw quite a big gap in the service provision. So you had this pretty great rehab, and then all of a sudden it stopped. And it kind of, for us, we saw this progress that you were making, but we knew there was so much more, and you were really driven at this, really driven. You always have been, and it kind of led us to improvising a little bit. So this is you playing some pool. Maybe one of the first weights you ever lifted.
I can't remember the pose, or I had lots of very like weights which I would have been ashamed of carrying, but now I see pictures with pride.
Yeah, man, you should be for sure. I don't think I've got any pictures of weights you're lifting now, but they're a lot bigger than that. That's for sure. Bigger than I could lift. And do you remember this lady?
I do. Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I think Erica. Yeah. Erica kind of did some extra stuff with you, kind of out of passion, and we also paid for some private stuff. But she was brilliant. Really pushed you, and yeah, I think you guys got on like a house on fire as well. All right. So around, this is probably now 2 years post injury, you went to the Oliver Zangwill Centre, and this really was kind of down to Mum pushed really hard for you to get in there. There's not a lot of spots, and it is one of the best neuropsychological, holistic kind of full spectrum rehabilitation centres. A really great multidisciplinary team, and some innovative and progressive rehab. And I know you probably wouldn't wouldn't realize being kind of there in the center each day, but I feel like I could see at this point you really move on. I felt like this was where you made brilliant steps towards where you wanted to be. Is there anything that stands out for you over that time at the Zangwill Center?
In hindsight and reflection, I can pinpoint to that's when my life really began to change, like in a big way. It was after going to the Oz Centre, because I got much more independent, and I began thinking smarter, and like goal setting, and that's where you can't see it, but behind your screen is a huge whiteboard where I structure my life, and I can't say without it, it's nothing. I'm nothing, but it helps having that, and then on my phone being able to use Alfred to like synchronize when I'm going to do things, where I'm going to do things, where and when I'm going to get reminded. It all links together. It really does help.
Mm. Is there anything or anyone there that really stood out for you in your memory?
At the Oz Centre,
Yeah.
I can't not mention the head, Andrew Bateman.
Mm.
And
That was the first
uh,
time we kind of got together and started talking about tech as well. Great guy.
there's Jessica Fish,
Mm.
who she co-wrote the paper that we got published in a magazine.
Mm. Mm.
Rare and unusual cases following a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah,
And
so
I
for
used the pseudonym because at that time, I was so I don't know how to say it, lost in my thinking. I thought it was the wrong thing to do, so
yeah.
I was Joseph Forrester.
I think there might be some patient confidentiality stuff as well, maybe why you used a different name. But yeah, for those who don't know, Luke's referring to a bit that they did on confabulation, and really kind of kudos to the team at OZ. They combined their service model with producing great research, and it allowed them to deliver, a really progressive model. And confabulation was a big, a big challenge that you had to come across, and that hit as a family. We were just so out of our depth of how to deal with it. I'll give like a bit of a crazy. I mean, some of them are pretty crazy examples, but I remember I think the day before you had come across some news article. There was something about terrorism.
Yeah,
You woke up convinced that you were in a hostage situation.
yeah.
Like then there was no way, and I mean we were almost like kind of like almost laughing, but for you it was serious. You had like lived through this thing, and it was this just wild.
So dramatic. The
Yeah.
Ellis, I had a book where I wrote down the stories,
Mm.
but I burned that book
You
because
burned that book. You don't need it anymore. No, you're
they went. It wasn't a history. It was like uh, it was just made up stories, and the more you read it, the crazier they get. That's
mm.
so. If it's a confabulate, like don't throw away your writing for like don't burn it. But if it's that affecting your mind, then that's why I just got rid of it.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just gonna swap these screens round so I can. I feel like I'm looking down at you on my screen. I'm just gonna bring it up here so I can see you better. So at the OZC Center, this was the first time you really used a cognitive assistive technology. Can you
I
remember this guy?
remember that the neuropager.
Neuropager. I although it was an incredibly simple idea or simple device, um, very, very useful for you. So it would kind of two ways you were using it. It was your reminders for the day, practical ones, getting up, medication, this kind of thing, but then also reminding you of some of the stuff you're doing at the center, but back home. And because at that point, some of these strategies you talked about, like the confabulation one, that really meant you had to be like aware of that really often, and
Yeah, I had
that kind of brought it to your mind.
it was in my repetitive like timetable. It was like after like morning breakfast, drink, and like my breakfast bits. Yes, I did have to write them all down. And it was then like a review. I had a book like review the any write anything down which is confusing me, and look at the neuropager.
Mm-mm. No, really useful. But I think, as you can see from this picture, a pretty outdated device, and we'll come back to that in a bit. But it was a bit of a moment for me as an engineer, thinking, okay, I can see some value here, but I think it can be executed a little bit better and a bit more in a modern way.
Can I just say, I remember mum being unable to stop it ringing at like 11 o'clock at night.
Probably chuck the batteries out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after OZC, this I've got like for us, this was kind of the second gap the second major gap that we experienced as a family, was going from that incredible support to literally nothing. We had the community support and outpatient was really bad here, and also you were quite far down your journey, your time since your injury, which means that the support was less accessible. But like, this is kind of testament to yourself. You filled up that time with lots of stuff. And I've got the picture of a guitar here because I know how important that is to you.
Yeah, no, it never used to be. I thought, like in a way, it was like, what would I have liked to do in my life? Because I can't do a whole bunch of it now, so I had to like do something else, and guitar. What was the other thing I'm interested in, but I haven't followed through, is a bit of acting, like on stage. I think that'd be quite fun.
There's a couple other things that you did. The music uh, when
Don't
you
forget
first cooking, yeah, my God, really, we're now reaping the rewards of that. You're the cake man. Always got a great. I must say that your first cakes were, we'd put a smile on, and this is delicious, Luke. But they're fantastic now. I'd say there was a few songs where we got a little bit sick of in the first few months, where you were just because it was your finger mobility and everything, it was really poor before you started.
It looks worse than it is.
It's completely different, man. Completely different. It's you called it your claw hand.
Yeah, it's
At
still a
the
little
time.
bit blurry, but it's I can move it very well. Not very well, but I
You can move it very well. You can. I don't think people meeting you now don't even notice. So we've got the guitar. Do you remember this dude?
Niall. Of course I remember Niall.
I know. I know.
I would love to meet up with Niall again.
Yeah, well, you didn't meet him. It wasn't too long since you met him. COVID's kind of
We were
stopped it.
messaging and wanting to talk about meeting him in the castle and go climbing.
It's funny you say that, Luke, because I've got a picture of that.
Really?
Niall was like, he was a carer, but also, way more than that. He was a real buddy of yours. And it was fantastic to see that, we actually looked quite hard for a carer who's young. He was also studying psychology, and so he was really keen to kind of implement some of the stuff that you had done at OZC, and we had the big folder. And it was great to have that young carer that you really got on with. I think that's super important. It was important for us. It was important for you, and I think was great for your recovery. I've also put this, and you missed this out, Luke. Your artwork has been, I think,
yeah, and you can see like the progress of my recovery with the art as well. I've got them all in an album. I don't think I have that one. Do you know who that went to? I remember.
I can't remember.
It went to this lady who read books to patients in A4, I believe, and she read to me Harry Potter. I forgot her name. It's flown away.
It's gone. But yeah, it's some really great artwork that you put in there. So some quite funny ones. You've always producing a great birthday card.
It's like everyone expects a homemade birthday card from me. So
you set the bar really high, Luke.
Well, I still do it, but if I have limited time, it's like this one, for instance. It didn't take very long at all, but they did.
I think it's great. You mentioned climbing.
Yeah.
This is so just Jack. As your brother when Niall and Jack's the chap in the background there, said he was going to take you climbing. I thought this is madness. But you absolutely, it really pushed you out of your comfort zone. And when you first were climbing, I didn't think. I thought it was, it just was unsafe, basically.
Ellis, you shouldn't worry too much. They did it. They were cautious. At the beginning, I didn't do lead climbing. I was attached to the wall, so I couldn't hurt myself really. And then as I progressed, I had a cranoplasty, a successful one. I moved on to lead climbing.
No, I went to kind of make sure, and they did. But then you become a bit of a beast, man, as you can see by your muscles there.
It's a great full body workout.
Absolutely.
I know that. I know him.
Who is this handsome man? Of course, But I thought I'd share with anyone who's still listening. This was kind of your recovery dog, I guess, Luke, / the greatest dog in the world.
The best dog ever, therapy dog. Like, my parents thought they always wanted a dog, but then they said they would get me a dog when I can walk it, and they got Baxter.
And we were very blessed to have him. He is anyone who knows Baxter. He's a majestic king of the canine world for sure. This is him basking in the sun on our dining room table outside. Real legend of a creature. And this, Luke,
I know where we are here.
Where is this?
Shepworth Wildlife.
I don't know how you can hold these things. There was actually a few pictures I was going to put on here. There's either you holding this snake. There's about 20 of you holding these great big insects.
Giant African land snails.
Oh.
Or the I'm trying to think which one there. Giant spiny stick insect from Papua New Guinea.
Some crazy stuff, but the volunteering at Shepworth, I can't remember when you started doing it, but I know you loved it.
Years ago.
What kind of stuff were you doing at Shepworth? I
mainly do the because you can imagine how much work needs to be done at a zoo. I do at the beginning. I was just sweeping and cleaning doors,
Mm.
and stuff. And when they do presentations, they like members of the volunteers to walk around with a few of the animals to show the public.
Mm. I
But
remember going to
they're
one.
only safe animals.
Mm. I remember going to one. I came to visit you when you were volunteering. I was really impressed. You were giving teaching some kids about some of the characteristics of these insects as they were crawling around your hands.
That was at the about like the body, cause, the body type of an insect, and because I still remember those.
I think so. I think so. But really impressed because um, yeah, memory was a big challenge. You know, still is. But when you when you needed to do it for your volunteering, you found a way of remembering it, and I was really impressed. And so was the lady who was doing it. What was her name? The lady who ran the insect.
The head of the education centre
Yeah,
was Laney.
Yeleni. Yeah.
She's in the photo at the back.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I would always have someone with me because I was a volunteer, a bit like a I would say I wasn't as qualified as like they have lots of help from people studying uh, animal wildlife and animal care.
You're
But
also holding a great big snake as well, so I think you probably should have someone. Oh, it's a video. I didn't realize. There we go. Okay.
oh, now we're on a
Yeah.
with a
So
track here.
Flash Gordon. I remember this day really clearly. This was your first parathletic meet, and you can see how fast you're traveling here. Sport was always a passion of both of ours. And after your injury, we were trying to, and this is the early stages, we were trying to think of a sport that you could do. We both did rugby and judo, a bit of football, but a sport that you could do that didn't kind of require the changes in direction stuff. And you started sprinting, which I just love this story in general, because going back to that first post injury of being told you were unlikely to ever walk or will really talk, and then here's you sprinting along. But yeah, what can you tell us a bit about athletics and what that has played, what role that's played for you?
Really given me a purpose, like and you can see your achievements. I've got like a few medals up there on the wall behind you. Sorry, and that you get a huge satisfaction when you get that feeling of achievement, and it's just I know it's good for your mind and body. So
Mm.
I just like running.
Love running. The amount of work that I've seen you put into it is just incredible, inspiring, honestly.
That goes into the whole the mind and body sort of link, because you can't get one without the other, and to get faster you gotta work on like a smart program, and then so you develop stages, and that's where I think it's also helped my brain as well.
Mate, definitely. Even simple things like packing a bag used to be a bit of a challenge for you. You would pack it, unpack it, pack something, miss something, and you had some strategies for doing that. But when it came, when the athletic, this is just a tangible example with the athletics. All of a sudden, it's like I'm now packing my bag, and I care about it a lot more. And you would pack. Sometimes you'd pack like a day and a half in advance.
Yeah, what I was talking about, it gives you a purpose and like drive, and it's a purpose of drive more than just being told to do something.
Mm, mm. Yeah, definitely.
It's
Couldn't agree with you more.
like passion.
Mm. Yeah, and I've seen it positively impact the other areas of of your life, or at this point, what you're 5 years post injury in 2017. It's not rehabilitation anymore. It's just it's your life, and this gave you something. I could see that the energy it gave you and how you wanted to get better to kind of to help you along. So yeah, and I'm incredibly proud of you, seeing you do your athletics.
That's in Cambridge, I believe.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but yeah, this is a great shot. Love this shot. I sometimes
Who,
pretend if
who
if
got
I'm
that?
showing this to any girls, I might pretend it's me, because you're looking in great shape there, man. My those days are well behind me now, I think.
I doubt you're my twin brother. I doubt it. When was it
Sorry?
shot? When was it shot? Because
I don't I'm not sure exactly. I think it was 2018. And this was just when you started really ramping up. You were training a lot. The main problem we had was trying to get you to train less and rest a bit more. Um, but yeah, I think you're physically, you
I've
just
started
kind
to
of,
do that more now.
just
That's
still a battle, mate. To try and get you to
uh,
take some rest. Are you looking at your
uh, so,
whiteboard now?
why? Yeah, I was just looking at the way that I write it in my whiteboard, or Alfred. It really does help.
Yeah, what have you got tomorrow?
Tomorrow I've got a talent camp in Loughborough
And what's that for?
for para athletics.
Right. Yeah. So this is the British Paralympic Development Squad for 200 and 400 meters. So big day tomorrow. You'll smash it.
Hopefully, but it's not a competition. It's just like a training,
Training. Yeah. No.
because no one's done it for a long time now, so they just want to keep everyone fresh.
Yeah. I with the COVID. Yeah. This is you getting a medal here. Then maybe one of the ones on your board there. And who's this lovely four-legged
That's
creature?
Becky.
Yeah, we love Becky. So I guess I wanted to put this in here because it was a bit of your first kind of not really a job, I guess. I guess a job. Um, but this was a responsibility that like we kind of started ramp. You started taking more responsibility of things here, and this is a Becky. You're still walking, Becky, is that right?
Yeah,
Lovely,
I
lovely
saw
dog.
Becky uh, 2 or 3 times a week, depends what her owner wants. And
Mm,
when her owner goes out, like or goes sees her family in Australia, uh, I think I look after Becky for a few weeks.
lovely, lovely dog. Um, and here, this,
I know who that is.
yeah,
That's your landlord, Ian.
not my landlord. This was a rugby groundsman, Ian.
Ah, I got the name right though.
Yeah. So
I
Ian had
said
just.
landlord.
Can you remember what he had done here for the Silver Lining charity?
He had, uh, was it cycled from a very long way?
Very long way. He cycled from. He did the London to Brighton cycle, but he
Yeah,
was he was. He wouldn't mind me saying this. He was 19 stone before he started, maybe on the heavy side of 19, and trained really hard, lost loads of weight, completed the cycle, and that was for the Silver Lining charity. And I wanted to mention this for the and you talk about this quite often, the community that you met through the Silver Lining. So do you want to just talk a little bit about that, and maybe the charity?
The Silver Lining family, and like it formed like I don't know what, I can't really call it a care circle, but like a bunch of like-minded individuals who just want to improvement, and for anyone who needs it. And at the time, it was helping those who had suffered a brain injury. So
yeah, great. Always love the Silver Lining meetups are always great fun. A bunch of you guys all together, some of us caregivers as well, but always
great fun for you and me, and learning and sharing experiences. It is very useful.
Definitely.
Seeing what works for one brain injury person may or may not work for another brain injury sufferer, but knowing that means you can test things and ideas.
Yeah, there's a couple guys there. I can't remember their names. They kind of took you under their wing a little bit and kind of showed you the ropes. They're like that Simon, 20 years post injury, and he's like, "Oh, you're just a youngling."
Yeah, well, I can't remember the names there, but Simon is one of them. Oh no, they've left me.
No worries. And this guy, do you remember? Can you
I know,
say
Adam.
a few words on this?
Adam's a fellow I met Adam and Mary as they also volunteered at Shepworth, and we met up outside, and this is at Duxford, I believe. We were a classic car.
Oh, nice.
I think
you probably don't realize this, Luke, but you've been a real help to Adam, and I hope you know that. You know, it's you've kind of helped him a lot, and he's very fond of you. The time that you spent together, you've kind of been almost mentoring him a little bit.
We like each other's company as well. It's and then like what was I going to say? It's left me. It must have been not important.
Let me know if it comes back. I put this in here as this was after the charity event. Not your first hangover, but one of the more, prominent hangovers you've had. And we had actually we had a night out in Brighton, and it sounds silly, sounds maybe foolish, but we went out a lot before your injury, and we have done since. And it was I remember it clearly because it was I didn't worry about you. I didn't feel responsible for you. We just both had a cracking good time.
Must have been a breath of fresh air for you.
Yeah, I guess so.
Must be like a sigh of relief.
Yeah, I guess I feel I felt like responsible for making sure you're okay and safe for a long time. I think you were probably more responsible for me that night.
Yeah, I think how our roles have changed.
Yeah, role reversal.
Yeah,
let's crack on here. Okay.
I've been working there all day today.
And so this, very proud. This is your first proper job since your injury, and it sounds like you're smashing it. Working your van, look at you there.
I really enjoy it.
Absolute pro, beautiful day as well. So yeah, if you want a crepe or waffle, Luke will fix you up a fantastic one.
Or smoothie, or just a little treat. We've got a whole bunch.
You've got something for everyone. All right. So now I'm going to transition a little bit into kind of the stuff that I've been doing, inspired by your story. And I thought, like, I'm going to talk a little about our work. And Luke, if you've got any questions for me, you can jump in. But yeah, I guess 2019 was when I finished uni, and from Luke's this experience, I knew just how big the problems people face in this sector are, and also how little innovation or technology is used. So just saw like a huge gap, and it really started off with I guess back in 2015-16, seeing some of the stuff you were doing at Oliver Zangwill Centre and thinking, you were very, very lucky to get that, and most people don't. And what happens to those people? And what happens if those people also don't have a supportive, caregiver, a network? They haven't got family, they haven't got friends. So we started looking deeper into the problem, and it's a real, it's huge. And with the experience with you, and also just the bigger picture, thought we have to come in here and try and do something. So yeah, it was actually, you can't quite see, but it was a startup competition at Oxford Uni, and we were called Oxford Neurotechnologies at the time. Kind of came up with the name in 20 minutes before this competition. We were very it was kind of a kick in the teeth to let's do this, and we applied way too early on, but we were successful, and that was the first kind of gave me the confidence to go in and take this further. And then we changed our name, which I'm very happy we did.
Me too.
Right, you helped us pick that name, Luke, and with the logo as well, so much appreciated. So yeah, the Alfred V1 was what we were working on when we first started, and we looked at the main long-term barriers to independence, and it was heavily influenced by you, Luke, but also just looking across survivors in general. And the most commonly reported ones are memory, executive functioning, fatigue, attention. These are cognitive deficits. So we wanted to build something to address these issues, but importantly, try and make one thing to address them, not multiple, not 4 different things to support 4 different areas, because all that each one you add adds another layer of complexity for the user. So it needed to be something simple but versatile. What was that, Lukey?
Yeah, I said yes in agreement. I remember when I had a structured layout of what therapy to do, and it was color coordinated, and the books were endless, and it gets almost impossible to do single-handedly. So as soon as you that's why when you leave rehab, you're lost. You don't know what to do.
Yeah, very confusing. I remember we were trying to come up with a system together for you to try and compensate for your memory using the phone and the whiteboard, and it became very complicated very quickly. Multiple apps. I couldn't do it, so very, very difficult. Big problem, especially in brain injury, where there's a lot of different symptoms people have. So what we kind of settled with was this modern implementation of prompting. Prompting's one of the most commonly used and effective methods in neuro rehab, and it is used in these multiple different areas. And our product was mostly inspired by NeuroPage, but put onto a smartphone allowing you to connect with caregivers, utilizing all the technology of a smartphone like location and multimedia, and bringing it into a single kind of system to support in those different areas. And as I said before, making it versatile enough to support them in those different areas, but also simple and intuitive to use. So the main kind of components: supporting cognition and daily living, and also connecting with caregivers and clinicians. So where and when do we see this coming in, or where do we actually see the biggest problems here? And put this picture on to kind of show what we see as the cliff or the void in services right now. We've got great inpatient for that short period. And if you're lucky enough to have a medico-legal claim or be very wealthy, you can pay for some excellent private support that can really support you ongoing. But in between, there's very, very little. And you've got kind of charities and third sectors that fill that a little bit, but really there's not much there at all. And we want to build something for these people here and kind of bridge this gap, make that ongoing support more accessible. And also I'd like to say here and this is something I've noticed with you, Luke, in your journey. Your recovery journey is what, 10 years now, almost 10 years since your injury, right? And
a long time.
It's crazy amount of time. And I'd say you're still getting more independent. You're still doing things which you thought you couldn't do. You know, there is this idea of a golden rehab window. You know, that might be true for improving at a quicker rate or being able to do easily measurable things like mobility, but really fulfillment and independence, they happen at completely different timescales. And when you look at other conditions like the diabetes, that's a chronic condition, and now support is ongoing, it's lifelong to mirror that condition. Brain injury doesn't happen. It's still, you get support for a short period of time and then nothing, but the support should really be lifelong, just as the condition is. So yeah, we want to kind of plug this gap. And some of the stuff we've learned recently, so there's Alfred V1, you can go and download it and test it. But what we've really been working on in the last year, which really excited to pursue this year, is how we can go further than that. And something that we've learned, and this is also kind of that I wanted to get across from your story, Luke, is we're engineers, and we came at it looking at features, what features would users need to solve their problems. But when you get to long-term rehabilitation, you said it yourself earlier with the athletics and the purpose, it's not being told what to do because it's good for you isn't gonna mean you're gonna do it. This is your life, and OZC, where they give that holistic neuropsychological rehab, they consider all these things, and at the moment it's lacking, but it can have such a huge positive effect. And we've done almost 100 or so interviews with survivors, caregivers, and some of the top clinicians, and these are the things that really drive someone towards a level that they didn't think was these remarkable recoveries. It's about finding purpose, connecting with the community, acceptance and moving on, finding self-worth and confidence, and that's really what drives it forward. So a big question for us, and what we're really excited about tackling, is how can technology assist with this process? So yeah, some of the areas what we've kind of focused on was that supporting cognition and daily living, but in a kind of holistic sense, all of these areas you need this. And right now, there's very little out there that can try and address these areas, but it's important for these all to be considered. That bottom left, the specialist support, right now that's usually only available, even community services, it's very, very intermittent. You might get one session a month, not enough. And it's so expensive right now to go and see a neuropsychologist or an OT privately. So, how can technology address that? How can technology support caregivers who, when you look at the numbers, they spend over 8 hours a day caring for loved ones, 12 months post TBI. They're pivotal, but they're not empowered. They're not, they could be trained and upskilled so that their caregiving is an investment in that individual's future. And how can we build these principles into our offering and make it long-term and accessible? So not over that short period, but as long as someone needs it. So what next? I haven't talked a lot about, Alfred, and I've wanted to kind of talk more about where we're going with this. So our vision really is to build a product that enables people to find fulfillment, happiness, and independence, really by making the best possible care support available. So yeah, if this is something that if you want to come and chat, and if you support our vision, then you can sign up on our website or scan that QR code to have a chat with us. But yeah, this is a really exciting time for us at NewMind. We've just moved into a new office. We're kind of prototyping our next step forward. Luke's coming in and you're doing some paid employment for a NewMind now, which is awesome. It was always like a ambition of mine for a long time. So yeah, please reach out. And I'll just finish by saying, I think the remote rehab and the topic of virtual rehabilitation and how we can use technology to increase accessibility is a very, very, very important one, and it's an inevitable one. And it's being done in all so many other conditions quite successfully. There's good models there to learn from, and yeah, it's exciting to see how this can come into brain injury, which so desperately needs it. So that's me over and out. Luke, is there anything you want to add there?
I think that's complete.
That's complete.
Yeah, I can't add anything.
End of transmission. I'm gonna come in now and grab you, and
Okay,
we
cool.
can have a cup or two or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone has listened to the end, thank you very much. And yeah, please don't be shy and reach out. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye.